Hi artists, we're in that final stage of the drawing project where I have looked very carefully at my collage, planned everything out in linear detail or contour lines. I also would say that you should complete your value scales in any color combinations you need and then tuck those carefully away in your sketchbook, keeping it handy for later on. And we're going to be using now a full drawing pencil set, pencil crayons, color pencil crayons, and some wax crayons. You also should have some of these paper blending stomps, either a larger or smaller one. And these can be used really well with the pencil-based media, but I wouldn't use them with the wax crayons. So the idea is that if you're working in a black and white area, you may want to just come in. I like to work from light to dark. So let's say I was looking at the tail here of this chicken. I'm going to start to just fill in a little bit more any areas I see where it's a softer sort of mid-gray tone. So you can always darken things or deepen things up later, but it can be very challenging to erase any of this away. So we're going to try as much as possible to not make use of the eraser. Okay, so I'm just going to work in sort of a small area here, and this would continue throughout, but just to kind of speed things up. Grabbing a darker pencil now, coming in. You can also just start to use a little more pressure, and that can work really well. So just noticing where the feathers sort of seem to change. Okay. And continuing in that kind of way. Again, getting to these really deep dark tones wherever they kind of make the most sense. So I can see a couple in here. Okay. So in that area, if I'm pretty happy with the way the pencil was blending on its own, reminder that you want to blend by going in two different directions. You also want to make a point of really trying to keep your pencil well sharpened as you work. But you can come in and just soften back some of these areas. I don't like to get too carried away with these, so don't use them overly so. Kind of let some of that mark making of the pencil just kind of show through. You can see that just kind of smooths over those final details as I begin into that tail, which is fairly dark. If you are working and I'm right-handed and I've started here, this might smudge if I came over and wanted to work on the head. So another good tip is to just keep an extra piece of paper that you can conceal and sort of protect parts of your drawing, so that now if I wanted to come in and begin working somewhere else, my hand and the oils of my hand are resting, okay, on a cleaner space. So just having that there is an extra little nice assurance policy. Or another option is to try to think about working from the top to the bottom or from one side to the other. But really you just want to go wherever the values and the shades make sense in those grayscale areas, and continue that step until you complete it. I've got a few grayscale areas up here as well in the eggs, and so I might begin there. Just again, in trying to shade a nice rounded sphere and knowing that I can always darken it, but it can be really tricky to lighten it. So again, let your pencil help you to blend. Take your time, keep your lines close together. That's what's going to create that illusion of a nice uniform shade. And then just watch your pressure and keeping it nice and gentle. Okay, so that's a good start there on that one. And we'll move to another egg that uses the color pencils. So with color pencils, let's say I was going to work on this little spotted egg here, you're just going to want to grab a few of them that seem to be in the right color family. Okay, like so. And there's a couple of different brown tones. And just sort of have those out and ready. You don't need your whole set with you to kind of get this part done. And then again, working from lighter to darker. So if it helps you, you can sort of organize these colors into a graded scale or that ombre look. And again, I'm just gonna start to notice how it is in the collage. I'm gonna let the white of the paper show through where it is white. And just working in this lighter tone. And knowing that I can overlap it as the tones start to deepen. So on this very edge, it's a bit stronger. And out to this side. And eventually comes into almost more of an orangey peach. And you may not get these color blends right immediately. That's where as well, if you want to keep your sketchbook handy or that scrap paper that's covering things, might be a good place where you're not sure what the difference is in these yellows, and it lets you see it. Okay, so you can sort of plan that out, or it lets you see what happens if I layer this and this. That's a nice tone, I like that one. So sometimes mixing two colors together, as we practiced in the value scales, is really crucial to just help you get that right location. Okay, so you can test, protect your drawing, working into these smaller areas now. But even each spot is not just a single color of brown. I can pick out that there are lighter and darker areas that give it that dimension. And depending on the positioning of it, right, these spots on this shadowed edge are going to have a deeper brown than any that sit out here. So I'd continue on and on. The last supply that you may want to experiment with is your wax crayons. I'll choose these for a larger sort of area. And again, you may want to test out the various shades that you have. Okay, and just keeping those organized so that you know what you're going to get. Really tough to tell the difference until it is tested. Okay, so understanding some of that blending. Your white crayon might be a really handy crayon, so you can come back in and blend and also soften colors. So the white is a super useful tool, much like these blenders. These paper blenders could work, by the way, on your pencil crayon. It doesn't work quite as well as it does with these grayscale drawing pencils, but it does soften out and blend pencil crayon. So you can feel free to get in with that. Okay, so if I was using these in a more artistic way and just in a really gentle approach, again, I'm just wanting to define that area. I'm keeping my pressure really light. Okay, and then knowing, I'm gonna come with this next color here that I liked, knowing that the white of the paper might just be the part that shows through. If it's something that's rounded, like this egg, it can sometimes help, I hope you can see, to shade in the direction of it. So I'm shading in this curvilinear contoured way instead of going side to side. Those little lines will really help to define what this can be. Okay, and so you can just carry on like so. And I'll come in with my white wax crayon over some of those colors to mix them and blend them. So hopefully you can see here where I've gone with the white. I can even pull these colors into that highlighted area and just help fill in. Okay, you could layer these with the pencil crayons, but I would do the pencil crayon first, and then if you're going to come in and add any sort of crayon, the wax kind of floats on top. So you're gonna carry on until the full collage is complete, and then carefully peel away all of your tape and you might sign the bottom corner or the back of your artwork. And this process will take some time, practice, and observation. So good luck.